when we were working with the callouts, you remember that we inserted this concrete masonry unit, and then another concrete masonry unit, and then another one. But wouldn't it be great if we could do this we don't want to do this one by one, but wouldn't it be great if we can do this just by dragging the mouse? We can. If you go to annotate, and if you go to, we can either use a detail component. When you use a detail component, you just insert a detail and that's it. But if we are repeating a detail component, that's great because, for example, here you see that we have bricks. Okay, so we can go up. So we don't have to insert one brick, and then another brick, and then another brick. So if it's repeated, it's something that it's repeated, we can create a repeating detail component, and it's wonderful. So we're going to do that with the concrete masonry unit. Sometimes, well, sometimes. I remember that in other versions in Revit, the repeating detail component, there were different options. In this version or in this file, we just have the brick. Okay, so by default, we have a brick, but we have to do this. Well, basically, this is the same thing we have with the thermal insulation. Okay, so we do this with the thermal insulation because it's a detail that is repeated, and we can do that. So it saves a lot of time. Imagine that we had to do this shape every time we want to insert a detail. Doesn't make sense. So with the concrete masonry units, well, placing 1, 2, 3, it's not a big deal. But if we want to place 20 detail components in this callout and 20 in another callout, we need to do something to save time. So let's do it. I'm going to select a repeating detail component. By default, we have brick, and I have to create another one. So I edit type, duplicate, and then I name it CMU. I think it was 8 inches, the width of this CMU, 8 or 10. I think it was 8. Okay, so the detail, here we have this brick UK standard, whatever. What I want is the detail that I'm using here. So I need a core section, and it has to be 8 by 8 by 8. So let's, yeah. So this is CMU core section 8 by 8 by 8. And the layout, it's a fixed distance. Yes, we have a fixed distance. And here we have the spacing between elements. I don't know the spacing yet. So I'm going to create this to see what happens. I create OK. And now if I have a repeating detail, I can do this, but this is not what we want. So we have to work with this spacing. Okay, so first we have to find out the height of this concrete masonry unit. I can go to annotate, align, and then from this point to this point, what is the height? 8 inches. So the spacing should be 8 inches. Okay, so we can select this, we can edit type, and then if this, I can type 8 inches here, and I hope it will work. Yep, perfect. Okay, so now every time I use a repeating detail component, this CMU 8 inches, whoa, isn't it lovely? And then you can do the same with another concrete masonry unit, a 10-inch concrete masonry unit block, or everything that is repeated. You can use the same strategy. You can create a repeating detail component by editing type and duplicating the name, and then we only have to find out the spacing. So here, this is not the right spacing. I'm sorry, Scott, but if we do this again, component, repeating detail component, and we start here, that looks better because this is the right distance between two blocks. Okay. And now if we want to align it, we can move. There's a midpoint here. Okay, so that's better.